Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Hi, we're here. We're back. It seems like it's been a while, but it's only been a while because we haven't recorded in a while. It's been the normal amount of time if you're listening, but, things are weird like that, time.
Things are weird, period.
Well, I mean, that's normal. Wait, hold on. Anyway, Ian, what's up?
Not too much. Just back in the saddle. Finally have most of my breathing apparatuses back in normal functioning position. So let's answer some questions. Questions that come from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members.
Yes, we can now breathe a sigh of relief because Ian can now breathe. All right. Let's go and get started off with this one from Andrew D. Now that I think about it, was Sonic 06 a big meta joke where Silver went back in time to stop the game from ever happening for everyone except the audience who had to suffer through it? I kid, since I actually enjoyed the game. But can you guys talk about what stuff you did and didn't like in that game? I'm not sure if Ian can talk about what he didn't like, but I know Kyle can.
I can talk about it.
Sure.
I liked Shadow's story. A lot of it is very pretty still. Some of the graphics have aged well.
Maybe in the cutscenes.
Some.
Yeah. Definitely not in the hub world.
I do remember enjoying playing as Silver for the most part.
Yeah.
The music was great.
Well, yeah.
I know that's kind of a free space on the Sonic Bingo card, but I don't know, there's some especially solid tracks there, and the horrendous glitches have led to some great stories to tell. So, silver lining to that cloud.
Well, I mean, the first and only time I've played the original version on actual console, it was first thing I did was clip through and get stuck in a building and couldn't get out and was stuck there forever. So that's cool. I'm really glad the remake, the unofficial remake, Sonic Project 06, completely removes the hub world. I hope that remains true throughout the whole process. We don't need that.
Really?
It's terrible. It's awful. It's all menu driven. Yeah, there's no cutscenes either. There's the in-game cutscenes and voices remain, but the pre-rendered stuff is all gone. They'll probably add those back in, but I really doubt. I really hope they don't add Soliana back in. Just don't do that.
But if there's no Soliana, there's no Sonic Man.
I'm okay with that. I can deal with that.
No. Sonic Man is like second only to Big, my friend. He's a crucial character. Tied in second place with Wintos, the traveling merchant. But, I mean, he's a linchpin of the franchise.
Okay.
And what about Shopkeep, who says, hey, iconic, absolutely. And what about Pele, the beloved dog? And all the funny hats?
No, it's okay. I'm okay with that. I mean, we don't need it. It's okay. It's okay, Ian. We'll be okay. It's unnecessary. It's okay, but it's fine. Yeah. Either way.
But if they remove all the horrendous load times and the needlessly complex hub world, then we miss out on the sub quest where you have to find the dude, but it's the quest giver himself. So you spend a solid 5 minutes in loading screens just to talk to him, activate quest, talk to him again to solve the quest, to go back to the main world. That's comedy gold.
I mean, yes, but we still have the original for that. We don't need the remake to do that.
I suppose.
Yes, we don't need that. We don't need that. I'm being asked if that's actually in the game. Yes, it is. Does it take 5 minutes to actually load? I mean, I guess it depends. It probably does, but only on the PS3 version. Thankfully, it does not take that long to load on the 360 version. But yeah, and it's not an optional quest either. It is mandatory.
Was that one mandatory? I don't remember.
I'm being told it was.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Like it's literally just bad. It's a horribly unfinished game. Like it's literally not done. I mean, what can I say? It's broken. It's still probably an alpha game. Like it's not even a beta yet, and yet they shoved it out the door. Thanks, Sega. Oh well. Here's one from Batman69 LOL. What if Sonic and Pals had a journalist hater like Spider-Man's J. Jonah Jameson Jr.? Like Sonic, most likely would be nonchalant about it, but how would his other friends handle it? Like how would Tails, Amy, Whisper, Shadow, Cream, and Big handle it? Would his criticisms be fair, or just as based on bad faith as Triple J? Would you give him a reason to hate them, or would you leave it a mystery?
It depends on which incarnation of JJ that we are basing off of, because some of it is he's just a hate-mongering petty old man who wants views, and some of it is he is a legitimate I want to back off on the word legitimate. He does have understandable concerns. It's just he goes about it in the most caustic way possible. He's unapologetic about it. I prefer the latter version because it's more rounded and nuanced and interesting, and it gives a more interesting dynamic with Peter, because Peter is trying to do the right thing, but he's still going to get called out for any minor flub, and that would actually bother him. But we're getting off tangent. You're not asking about Spider-Man.
No, they're asking about Sonic Man. Give me pictures of Sonic Man.
Like, if we're not going to go any deeper for now, we're just having this reactionary, bad faith editorial guy. Yeah, Sonic wouldn't care.
No.
Tails and Amy would. If not for the mean things being said, then the dishonesty of it. They can see the broader picture and how misinformation can cause greater problems and want to solve that. But by confronting it directly, they're very easily painted as the enemy and vindicate everything this guy says. So they're put in a tricky situation. Shadow wouldn't care. Like, even if it was something really nastily said about him, he just wouldn't care. I don't think he could be baited into even doing something violent. It's like, who is this guy? I don't even know who you are.
He doesn't have to be baited into doing something violent. He will just do violent things regardless.
This is true, but not towards this guy in particular, I guess. Cream would be heartbroken. Why would someone say such mean things? And that might get Sonic to step up. Big, are we sure Big can read?
Of course he can.
I mean, he doesn't need
it's a silly question.
Such a transcendent being doesn't really need physical media to convey information,
but of course he can read.
I don't think he would care either.
He can read the signs in a Sonic Adventure, apparently.
Well, all right. Of course, then again, the Chaotix just seemed to potentially be teasing Amy and Cream, and he was ready to throw down. He finds out somebody's talking smack about Cream or Amy or any of his friends. Nah, he's going to level that building.
As he should. As he should. It's true.
Now, as to why what's this person's motivation? If we're going just full on, he's a bad faith jerk, it's very easy to say he's just part of Eggman's propaganda machine.
Mm-hmm.
Have him based out of Press Garden and really run with it. Or if you want to go the more nuanced route, almost a kind of along the same lines as like Surge and Starline, in that Sonic and his friends can be somewhat irresponsible, or not at least thinking in the long term. So come at them with, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you think of this? Why didn't you do this exact thing perfectly the first time in the heat of the moment? Play real Captain Hindsight on this one, where they're not wrong, but it's like, okay, well, what constructive solutions do you have? None. He's just there to critique because that's all he can do. But
so to say that Hedgehog is a menace. That's all he needs to say. That's all he needs to do. That's all we need. Underage fox flies planes without a license.
Child terrorist attacks the military. Breaks fugitive out of jail.
I mean, that is exactly what happened. He's not wrong.
Exactly.
Oh, boy.
Foreigner crosses lands with his own territory, drops island off of coast of Station Square.
Yeah.
Not only is he crossing the border, he's bringing the border with him. We need answers. We need action. Subscribe now and learn all about it.
Yes. All right, here's a question from Domino. Ian Flynn, the supposed Bumble King. In the May 12th Q&A, you stated that Rouge's curviness has become an afterthought. When do you plan to rectify this shortcoming?
Look, if you want to hug those curves as you go driving around, be my guest. It's not crucial to her characterization.
That's arguable.
It's just who she is.
Okay.
Just what she is.
It's very important, though. It's extremely important.
It's also a hurdle when working with other licensees.
Yes, I know.
To varying degrees.
It's goofy.
But I shouldn't get any further into that because I'm not privy to those conversations. I have no real control over it, so I don't want to say something that gets taken out of context and get somebody else in trouble.
That's too late for that.
I don't want to do it anymore.
You don't want to do it again? Okay, fine. We'll just do a different question then. Here's one from E200 Paragon. In Sonic Frontiers, the ancients were forced to flee from their homeworld due to the End destroying their planet with a single effortless strike. The ancients would migrate to tens of thousands of years ago and settle on the Starfall Islands, only for the End to arrive and attack them. However, instead of just immediately destroying Earth like it did with their homeworld, it simply focuses on just the Starfall Islands, leaving the rest of the Earth untouched, which, and no offense, invokes the idiot ball trope given the context of the End's ability to read minds.
Before we get to the rest of the question, you're not wrong completely. Part of it is what I was going for in the script for the cutscenes didn't quite match the final product. That isn't to throw the rest of the team under the bus. It's just different creative visions. And it was more along the lines of, while the End was feasting on the Ancients' world, they escaped. It wasn't supposed to be a one-shot kill. And when it arrived at Earth, the Ancients were ready to fight. So it didn't get a chance to just attack like it normally did. It met resistance the second go around. That was the key distinction. As for mind reading, that came from the End being trapped in cyberspace, and Sonic also being in cyberspace, a dimension that takes knowledge and disseminates it within its greater parameters. The End can't read minds directly. It's just they shared the same digital prison, and thus there was a little bit of cross-pollination. But that's not the crux of your question, so please continue.
Relating to this are the legends of how the West Side Island civilization and the Babylonians were brought to ruin by some unseen higher power. Both races had some connection to the Chaos Emeralds, since the WSI civilization used them to become prosperous, and the key to the Babylon Garden needs the Chaos Emerald's energy to reactivate the spaceship. With all this in mind, my two-part question is this. Did the End attack other locations besides the Starfall Island when it arrived? And if not, then what destroyed these other civilizations?
That is still a mystery. The Ancients are supposed to have predated everything else. Conceivably, the End might have been marauding other spacefaring civilizations, but there is no concrete answer for just how widespread was its influence on the Sonic cosmos as we know it.
Which is very small. We know very little about the Sonic cosmos.
Yeah, it's very loosey-goosey.
Yes. Here's a question from Irvin Art. How should you outline a 1 year / 12 issues of a comic?
Assuming that it's a 20-page thing and you're just focusing on that 1 year, the way I would approach it is start off with just your brief, just a single paragraph describing the high-level story. How does it start? What is the principal action of it? And how does it end? From there, you know where it's going to end. And I kind of like to work backwards in a lot of ways. So if you know where your characters have to end up, both literally and spiritually, then you go back to part 1 and say, okay, where did they start? Again, in a physical sense and a metaphysical sense. And with those 2 points established in your mind, you go, okay, what is the path to get there? And from there, you can maybe break it down into the individual plot beats, like what are the major turning points for them, and spread that out over each issue. If there is a particular theme you want to weave throughout, you need to see how that is reflected in each part. Keep in mind that if you're doing this as a monthly thing and you're trying to capture the monthly reader, there needs to be some kind of strong end point to each individual issue so that it's the hook. It's what grabs you to go, okay, that was kind of a neat run, but I want to see what happens next. And that gets resolved at the start of number 2, but whatever that resolution was has to lead into the next falling action coming into the next hook for 3, etc., etc., etc. And once you have that rough idea, then I would say break it down into individual issues. And that would be like a sentence or 2 per issue to make sure you have a clear and concise approach to the story so that you have your beats. And then you can look at it and go, okay, if this happens here, then is it satisfying to wait 3 issues for this to happen? Do I need to shuffle that up? Do I need to shuffle it down? Does this point not make any sense? Do I need to cut that? And you're just dealing with, small sentences, not full issues, because that's infinitely harder. And once you have that figured out, then you can go into the next step down, a little more micromanagement, do your individual page breakdowns. And again, keep it to just like a sentence or 2 per page and go issue by issue and figure out how the flow of those go. And as you get into that level, you might realize, issue 2, it does carry a very specific plot point, but that's like the only interesting thing of that issue, and you've got nothing but filler for the rest of it. And you need to adjust from there. Can something move up? Can something move down? Can you add a new wrinkle without throwing off the flow of everything else? Does it fit the theme of what you're telling in the story? And then once you have all of that mapped out, once you've taken the telescopic approach and moved down to the microscopic approach, then you move to script.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah. Or you could just wing it. I don't recommend it, but, everybody works a little differently.
Just see what happens. Just see what happens. Are you stuck? Have ninjas attack. Why? I don't know. They're just attacking. Just have them show up. There they are. How do they get out of this one? Philip is mildly warm has a question. Oh, upgrade. Hiya, Bumblers. How you doing? I have discovered the wonderful world of blankets and now can keep a decently warm temperature. Hooray!
Hey, good for you.
Nice job. No pants necessary. Anyway, on to the question. Do the unique locations from Sonic Mania, Studiopolis, Press Garden, Mirage Saloon, and Titanic Monarch take place in any pre-established locations in the Sonic universe? I ask this because the game seems to strongly imply that both Studiopolis and Mirage Saloon are on Westside Island due to them being visibly connected in their level transitions to Chemical Plant and Oil Ocean, respectively. This is especially clear in Mirage Saloon to Oil Ocean transition, as Oil Ocean is right there on the very same landmass.
Yeah. In general, I assume that they are there, as you said, for those exact reasons, and that Titanic Monarch was built on Little Planet. I'd have to go back and look again. I think Press Garden kind of is in a nebulous placement, but there is a big asterisk on all of that because the Phantom Ruby and its shenanigans, we don't know how much of those transitions are illusion and how much of it is taken at face value. I prefer to keep things simple and just say if you see a physical transition without Phantom Ruby shenanigans, then it is legit, but that is not confirmation on my end. That's just how I would approach it, and we'll just have to see what gets nailed down in the future.
Could be interesting, though. I wonder where some of this stuff is. Mirage Saloon being on Westside Island does make some sense with its history of originally, being sort of a recreation, I suppose, of a zone originally intended for Sonic 2. Not a recreation exactly, but inspired by. So that kind of makes sense.
Spiritual successor.
Yeah. Yep. So I could see that. Here's a question from Happy Times. If a Chow befriended a Wisp, could it absorb some of its traits? If yes, would it be like Sonic with Wisp powers and be able to use those powers for itself? Or would the Chow act like a Wisp and lend its power to others?
I don't know, but God, I want to find out.
Make it happen,
Like,
Ian.
give me my standalone Chow Garden game and add the Wisps in. Like, maybe it gives them adorable little mini superpowers for a Chow Adventure type campaign, or maybe that spices things up in Chow Karate. You know, there's the rock, paper, scissors style punchy flail, and then beam punch, fire breath, blue block. I don't know. It would be cute and it would be fun. The only thing is, Chow also take on physical traits. So would they go to like some kind of horrid little single-eyed Chow, little cyclopean Chow running around? Triclopean Chow? I don't know if I want that. That might be a little much.
They'd make it work.
But what if they're like little emo dots took on the Chow, the Wisp property? So they have like a little burning one, or like a little crimson eagle flappy one above their head. That might be cute. Maybe a little weird to have a flapping emo dot, but whatever. They're strange little alien water babies. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Maybe this will just be an excuse for Cream and Cheese to hang out with Whisper. Do it, Ian. You have the power.
I don't know if they'd let us establish something like that in the comic.
Yeah, do it, Ian. Come on. Yes. Fight Sega and win.
That has never happened.
I know. Oy. Oh well. Here's one from Illegal Chow Fights. Speaking of Chow. Oh, Elden Ring. The Greater Will decides that the Tarnished is too slow, so to help restore order to the lands between, it summons a legendary hero who knows a thing or two about collecting rings. What would be Sonic's playstyle, and which boss would most likely give him a run for his runes?
I can't speak with any authority on this because Elden Ring kicked my ass. Like, I tried, and I do see the appeal of it, but it's not for me. It is too aggressive of a game. Like, I was just exploring and going, oh, what is this interesting thing in the middle of the forest? And as I'm trying to decipher it, some bear the size of Cleveland came in and bit my head off. And it's like, well, okay, can't really experience the world if every opportunity is going to kill me. I'm done. I tap out.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I know very little myself, so.
Now, Sonic himself has proven to be incredibly versatile and gifted in terms of combat. So I think he would be able to traverse quite well, really. And if Frontiers is any indication, he'd be able to hold his own. I don't know any of the bosses by name or particularly well, but it's the Sonic style, man. Run out of range, and then when they drop their guard for half a second, spin dash to the face. Rinse, repeat, victory.
He would just parry everything. But because it's Frontiers, he doesn't have to time it. He can just sit there and parrying forever. Oy, that's a silly mechanic.
Until he shows up against, what's her name? Melania?
I don't remember.
And he sees the little message on the ground that says, let me solo her, and he clicks that, and Knuckles shows up wearing nothing but a pot and carrying a couple swords.
All right. And of course he handily beats her. I mean, he's Knuckles.
Exactly.
Yes. Can't let him lose. He's lost enough. Poor boy's been through enough. All right, our next question is from the IDW Sonic Showdown. Interesting. Hi, Ian. I've been running some poll tournaments for IDW Sonic characters on Tumblr, and to hit the amount of characters required for a tournament, I've had to use some really obscure ones, like the guy from the 5th anniversary bonus story who becomes inspired to defend his town after being saved by Sonic, and the chief mechanic guy who Bell worked with. I was wondering if it's within your power to do this, if you had any names for either of these two characters that you could share, just because the guy from the 5th anniversary issue is a bit of a mouthful to keep typing on the polls.
Unofficially, I guess you can call Hammer Guy Jack Hammer. There you go. And internally, just in scripts, I was calling the mechanic Grease. as in Grease Monkey.
That's right, yeah.
It was flagged because Sega didn't want us going too crazy with all these characters that didn't go through the full official creation process. So, I think it's clear that they're not really characters like Tangle or Whisper. We're not pushing for Grease merch. It's just easier to say Grease instead of Chief Mechanic. But, unofficially, I think of him as Grease. And, because of that, I purposely didn't name the Hammer guy because we're never going to see him again. I didn't think we were going to see him this time either. So just call him Jack if you want, or call him Larry. Stu, Franklin. It's fine. All of them are legit.
Barry, Steve.
Everything is true. Nothing is forbidden.
Well, all I know is I am pushing for Grease merch now. But, I mean, Lanolin became a thing, so who knows what'll happen?
Yeah, Lanolin's still such a weird scenario.
Crazy. Great. I like it. I like that sort of organic growth of a character like that. Unintentional. It's great. All right, here is one from James J. If the universe of Sonic could have many possibilities of ways to go, thus having quite a lot of possibilities, could you say that these possibilities are potentially never ending? Perhaps endless possibilities?
All I know is that when you feel the sunshine, you need to reach for the stars. It'll take you back in time and be your diamond in the sky. Song references, yay!
Sonic Boom. Here's one from Lucio X30. What are the spoken or unspoken rules of writing a fan work for Sonic? Would something as trivial relating to OC/canon shipping be a big no-no? Or even the idea that Eggman designed a prototype E2000 hyper-focused on destroying the story's character for XYZ reason? Don't look into that second example. Totally not taking notes. Payment will be monetary. There are no rules. Do what you want.
Yeah. If you're writing fanfic, go nuts, man. Do your thing. In terms of professional stuff, it really comes down to what each individual feels comfortable with. Like, I know Evan Stanley is still working on her fan epic Ghost of the Future, but she's been working on that since, God, what did she say? 13 or something? It's kind of in her blood.
Not 2013. She's not 13 years old. Yes.
Yeah. And she's not billing it as anything official. Like, she's not attaching her name to it as official comic writer and artist's interpretation of Sonic. She's just kind of doing it for funsies, and Sega in general seems relatively chill with that sort of thing. So, there you go.
Yeah.
I have been tempted, to be sure, to just kind of write Sonic without any limitation, but I feel like I am too publicly attached to it for that to be a good idea. So I personally abstain just because it gives me more peace of mind.
Yeah. You could use a pseudonym, but people would probably figure that out.
Yeah, I've got a pretty distinctive style, and at this point, you could probably build a AI off of all the stuff I've put out there.
We will never see the Flynn fic. There we go, Flynn fic. Yeah. I'm being told to make me your ghostwriter. No, that's okay. That's okay. That's unnecessary. All right. One last question before we take a break. It's from Morless. Shadow is able to perform various chaos-related techniques when he is in possession of at least one Chaos Emerald that he isn't able to otherwise. That makes me wonder, though, is Blaze able to do something similar if she's in possession of at least one Soul Emerald? Surely, as their guardian, she should be able to utilize their power in a similar fashion, right?
Maybe.
Not necessarily, because Knuckles can't seem to do anything with them, even though he guards them. Or, no, he guards the Master Emerald, not Chaos Emeralds, I guess.
Yeah.
Technically.
And we haven't really seen the Soul Emeralds used individually at all. So it may be that they don't do that. They might have to work as a set, whereas the Chaos Emeralds are more variable. I don't know. It's not very clear.
Why would it be clear, Ian? What is this? You think you need clarity working on this franchise?
I mean, they're Chaos Emeralds. Come on. It's kind of built into the name.
So? Yes, that's also why they're the wrong colors for emeralds, because they're Chaos Emeralds. They're chaotically colored.
Barrel can be lots of colors.
It's true. It is true. Anyway, well, with that in mind, we're going to take a quick break. Then we'll be back with more on the BumbleKast. We're back, and we got a question from MXGR17. By using the dark and evil powers of fan fiction, Surge and Kit have gotten over most of their issues via it being hand-waved as just saying therapy plus time plus support and ignoring how it's absolutely not that simple to help them out. They are now friends with Sonic and Company. Surge still being a chaotic do-what-you-wants gremlin. Kit is still with a concerning will to murder at the drop of a hat for his new friends, and Surge is now dating either Amy or Sonic. In a scenario where Surge wakes up from a Starline trauma-related nightmare, what do you think Sonic would do to comfort her, and what would Amy do to comfort her? And then what would they later do to try and cheer her up? What would be done for Kit in the same scenario from Tails, minus dating elements, obviously? Thank you for clarifying that.
And there might be somebody going, fan idea, and it's like, no, this is very clearly just a what-if scenario, and this ain't happening.
I mean, Surge has two hands.
Kyle.
What?
Kyle. Family show. Kyle. No.
You can have more than two people
Kyle,
in a
no.
fan.
No, Kyle.
Whatever.
Sonic would basically just say you want to go for a run. You know, get you moving, get you doing something else rather than dwell on the psychological. Get the endorphins going just from the freedom of movement itself and positivity through action. And then, you know, ask, you want to talk it out and just kind of listen as Surge would vent. Maybe not have anything particularly insightful or helpful, but that's not really who he is. He's just there in presence and in spirit. And that might be enough. Amy would be more immediately active in, you know, do you want to talk it out? Do you want to investigate it? Do you want to not talk it out and do something else as a distraction? Do you want me to help me bake something? And then, you know, would later organize something to reassure Surge that, you know, that was just a dream and here are all your friends now and that this is what reality is and that is why it is good and you can be happy and you have support and all that other warm and fuzzy stuff.
That's too adorable, Ian.
Tails and Kit is a bit trickier because we haven't really seen Tails in a position where he has to mentor or support. He's usually the one in the need of support, so this would be where he has to step up.
Yeah.
And he might kind of fret over the fact that he can't be like Amy, and he doesn't see Sonic's method is particularly effective, especially here, and maybe he's being a little too analytical trying to work this out, but that works with Kit's brain. Kit is basically running on an advanced graphing calculator, so the whole logical approach would kind of work out, and so they logic out the trauma.
All right, well.
And Tails is pleased that, you know, that wasn't what he was going for, but it worked, and nobody else would think to do that approach. So, okay, as long as Kit's doing better.
Please do not attempt this in real life. Sonic is not real.
No.
This is not how this actually works. I mean, obviously, we're already at this point where Surge and Kit are like relatively stable, yeah. Anyway, here's a question from Noni. If Metal Sonic didn't keep having their programming/ego dragged back to the same point, could they ever reach the same level mentally as Sage?
I don't know. Because like Neo Metal seemed to have a more robust personality, but that was also him being able to talk and ham it up a little bit. The mentality was still pretty straightforward. And I kind of like Metal being so simple. So maybe not necessarily to the same robustness as Sage, but at least equivalent to Sonic. I don't know. Phrasing it that way makes it sound like some kind of mental power level, and that's saying Sonic isn't a fully realized individual. He is. It's just different characterizations, I guess.
I mean, Sonic is kind of simple. He's just a guy who loves adventure.
He is. I mean, exactly.
That's it. That's all you need, to be honest. I mean, works. It works. It's worked this long. Don't mess with what's working, I guess.
I mean, maybe that's an epiphany that Metal Sonic could reach one day. It's that he is simple. He just is a robot that's out for murderous revenge. What you see is what you get. And that does make him the one true Sonic. And thus he finds peace and goes into permanent standby mode. Beam, beam, boom, boom.
Yes. And then Eggman is mad and has to figure out how to fix it.
Blast it all. Why did he reach Nirvana?
All right, here's one from North Salt. In Sonic Rush Adventure, our heroes speculate on a potential connection between the Soul and Chaos Emeralds. I know it's a lot of MacGuffins to keep track of, but is this something that could be explored in a future story? Or is it something else we must bury in the sands of time?
I don't know. I want to say it's more recent canon material and thus should be investigated, but I guess those games are getting kind of old.
Sonic Rush Adventure? But, I mean, yeah, it's like more than a decade old.
Shh. Don't say that out loud.
I know.
It makes the gray hair come in.
I know.
But I don't know. It might be intentionally mysterious or vague. I mean, that plot point was dropped before the Ancients were even a thing. So, I don't know.
Sonic Rush Adventure was 15 years ago. Oh.
Dude, why?
Time.
Okay.
Oh no. Let's not think about it. Let's move on to this next question from Pit Viper. Dear Mr. Ian Flynn, what is your thoughts on trade waiting, the practice of avoiding the purchase of single issues of a comic with the intention of purchasing the collected edition instead? On one hand, it's cheaper and more convenient for readers, but the loss of issue sales could cause publishers to cancel books despite reader interest. I know you're a freelance writer and don't handle sales or marketing, but I still want to know your opinion.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly, what the solution is, because you summed it up.
Yeah.
You know, it is cheaper for the individual, and comics have gotten markedly more expensive. So, I don't want to say, shell out all your disposable income, because that's getting pretty tight for everybody these days. But at the same time, it's, how they judge the longevity and the health of a book is if it's selling regularly, okay, we put it into trade. I don't know enough about how the market works to really have an informed opinion. Just I see the concerns and the desires of both sides and honestly can't advise. I don't fault anyone for trade waiting. I really don't. I understand it. I get it. It's much easier to store and collect and catch up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can support the books you like monthly, I mean, at the very least you get that, monthly thrill of something new. But I don't know. Again, I don't really have a well-informed opinion on it.
Yeah. It's tough. I know some people who buy the individual issues digitally, but then they get the trades to have the physical versions of it. So they have, I guess, both in a sense. So I guess that's one way to do it. But I mean, I don't know how digital sales are tracked, if at all. They're generally tracked only by the companies internally. So you never see like, oh, this comic is selling this well digitally and stuff like that. So it's a very opaque market. It's kind of annoying, actually. So do what you can, do what you do, and I don't know, keep reading. Here's one from Puppy the Scholar. In Dark Mobius, Julie Suze stayed with Knuckles for a long time, only leaving after she became pregnant. Were they still in love that whole time? It seems that she allowed and perhaps encouraged a lot of his misdeeds, such as seemingly vaporizing Eggman. Were they just as bad as each other, up to a point?
It has been so long since I even touched upon that weird little side path in the continuity. I don't quite remember how it all went out. From memory, I like to think that there was still some love there. It's just she eventually realized that his ends justify the means approach didn't hold water to a point. Like, I don't think she would have any qualms with him nuking Eggman, Robotnik, whatever. He's a bad man. He does bad things. Yeah, sure, take him out. I mean, she's a soldier by trade. She would prefer that direct approach. But when he starts applying that to everyone, that's like, no, maybe we should think about it. No, you're not going to think about it. I can't course correct this. You're kind of being Knuckles and stubborn and stuck on a path. Okay, time to leave.
We all know Knuckles' only true love is the Master Emerald, though. I mean, yeah. All right, and here's a question from Santa Claus in May. All right. To clarify my previous question, the one you asked all the way back in September? I don't think so. How Starline would react to Antagonistos drawing out the full emotional bond fueled by power of the heroes through traumatizing them. So we get more bang when we toss these kids into my soul juicer plan.
Uh-huh.
We know who this is.
Yeah. If we're thinking Starline at his introduction, he would find that needlessly complicated. There are too many moving parts. It's too personal. You're risking too much for a final objective. Tone it back. If we're talking pre-Smush, like after his break from Eggman, he would see the value in it. Because at that point, he has realized just how much raw power there comes from emotional manipulation. That the soul and all of its caveats and permutations can greatly affect the environment around it. So yeah, absolutely. Sound plan. He will plug in the blender for him.
Works for me. Also, shout out to Santa for delivering millions of copies of Frontiers to kids over Christmas. He's a hero. The one we deserve. Here's one from Scurvy Pirate Dog. What if stories are fun, right? So here's a what if scenario. What if Eggman managed to kill Sonic? The catch? It's in the Sonic Boom universe, and it was by complete accident. How does it go? Does Boom Eggman boast about it, or does he try to hide the body before the cops arrive? And how does the other versions of Eggman react to the news that this Eggman managed to kill a Sonic?
It's really morbid, but I'm imagining a spoof of A Weekend at Bernie's.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah. He's just trying to...
Where his paralyzer ray was a little too precise. Oh no, I stopped his heart. Get up, Sonic. Come on. 1, 2, 3, breathe. What about Cubot? How do I do CPR? Quick. How do I dial 911? Boss, the rest of the gang is here. They want to join the invasion. Quick, get me the webcam. And he's just like kind of puppeting Sonic.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys. Eggman and I are actually now besties. We're going to have a sleepover. You guys can go home now. And Amy's like, wait a minute. And Knuckles like, oh, cool. Can I watch too? Sure. And then Knuckles just spends the rest of the night palling around with him, never picking up on the fact that he's sitting next to a corpse.
He just thinks he's
running subplot where Styx has this conspiracy theory that Sonic's actually dead. He's not actually friends with Eggman. Eggman decides to get away with murder by framing Knuckles.
Well, there we go.
Here, Knuckles, why don't you help Sonic down the stairs? Okay, buddy, here we... Oh, no! Except Knuckles does manage to revive him.
Well, I mean, yeah, we got to reset back to the status quo for the next episode, obviously. Turns out he was fine. Oh, man. Amazing. Amazing. Oh, I love this one.
The other Eggmen of the multiverse would just be incensed that this is the one who does it?
Yeah.
This is the one who gets the crown? Really?
I mean, he's the one who deserves it, obviously. Oh, man.
I mean, imagine Prime Eggman would sit him down and go, okay, I'm taking notes. Just tell me what you did.
It was by accident.
That's stupid. You're stupid. I'm leaving.
Yep, that's what would happen. Oh, so stupid. I love it. Anyway, here's a question from Scourge Time. When Scourge arrived back on Moebius, how did the suppression squad react to him? How did he beat them into submission? We saw Boomer holding his cybernetic parts and Patch still with his fake eye patch. But how and why did he lose his eye? Can you give a little story about it?
Again, it has been a while. From what I remember was we never went into too much detail because we didn't want to go too dark in our children's book. But when he beat him into submission, quite literally, he beat them up. And if they continue to try to resist or snark at him, he would beat them up again, just straight up. I will stop stomping on you when you say, yes, King Scourge. And that's all there is to it. I mean, when he initially came back, they wouldn't have been too impressed. Like, you dyed your fur, whatever. You can't be that big of a deal. You got scarred on your last trip back to Prime. Ha ha. And which led to stomping. Boomer, from what I recall, upgraded himself voluntarily because he didn't want to get stomped on anymore. Like, he was just really angry at himself for being so easily stomped upon, and so he upgraded so that he could be the one who stomps. Except, Scourge is a Sonic. Taking out things with robotics is kind of his thing, so at least Boomer could hold his own against everybody else. And then for Patch, it was a matter of, oh, you're such a wannabe with your fake eye patch. No, I'll give you a real reason. Spin dash to the face. There, put on the eye patch for realsies.
Oof. Wow, crazy. Scourge just says, okay, Boomer.
Yoy.
Superior Spider has a question. As a serious question, could Supersonic destroy the space Eggman made in IDW? Eggman implied at its current level it couldn't stop our hold Sonic, so I was wondering if Supersonic could break his toys like he always does.
Which space is he talking about? Is like the test tower or
space? Final Frontier. I'm actually not sure.
Dimensional Trap in Imperial City?
I would maybe assume that. I'm not certain.
I mean, Sonic has a knack for defying
tower space is what I'm being told, maybe.
Okay. Sonic can defy the odds in his base form for the most part, so I imagine Supersonic, if he knows what to do and how to do it, could potentially do so.
I mean, he's Supersonic. What can't he do, really? It's kind of his thing. So, yeah. Here's a question from Twilord. If Shadow wanted it, would his name be Shadow the Hedgehog Doom Robotnik, Shadow Doom the Hedgehog Robotnik, Shadow the Doom Hedgehog Robotnik, Shadow Robotnik the Doom Hedgehog, Shadow Doom the Robotnik Hedgehog, Shadow the Doom Robotnik Hedgehog, Shadow Robotnik Doom the Hedge...
He wouldn't. He would not.
Doom.
He wouldn't want none of these things.
Doom.
He's fine as he is.
Doom. And our last question on this episode is from none other than Fang the Werehog. Hello, Ian. I was wondering if you could sing the hit song Peaches from the famous movie Super Mario Brothers.
Well, I can try.
This one is for my one and only true love, Princess Peach. Peach, you're so cool. And with my star, we're gonna rule. Peach, understand, I'm gonna love you till the very end. Peaches, peaches. I love you so. Peaches. I love you so. Mario, Luigi, and the Donkey Kong too. 1,000 troops of Koopas couldn't keep me from you. Princess Peach, at the end of the line, I'll make you mine. Oh, peaches, 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 peaches. I love you so. Oh, peaches, 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 peaches. I love you so. Oh, peaches. Peaches, peach, 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 peach.
Bravo. Amazing. Beautiful.
That's going to wrap us up for this episode of the BumbleKast. But before we go, we need to give a big shank.
We need to give a big shank, yes. Anyway.
no shanking.
Okay.
These are the people over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members who make this show possible. Big thank you to Daniel H., Jennifer R., James K., John B., Robotnicombe, Sam Cybercat, Samuel P., Torchbound, Mike B., Andrew D., Dave M., Salucha Cat, Noni, J. Frost, Coupling Crew 128, Do As Dizdin, Hero of Light 13, Professor Scruffy Matt, Chris A., Sony, Scurvy Pirate Hog, Triforce Riku, John M., Sonic, Ben Wolfsbane, Jib, Arcfighter, Lisa M., Lee H.K., Twilord, Chaosonic 1, Stardust Spectre, Chevelle, Mixergers 17, Axis, Inc. Thinks, Starlight Sec, Xander Ernie the Painter, Z Broadcast, Jonathan D., Cameron H., Tick Tick, Jolene B., The Name is X, Solaris Dane, Namrick, Godzilla, Joshua S., Nondal, Ava Arctic, Dove, Just a Mountain Soul, Quaggle Gaggle, Yuma221, Justin S., Jennifer H., Dabbler the Dalek, Sonic Legacy, Alex K.R., Jay the Redneck, Angela V., Tetsuya the Wise, Alpha Mono Yukin, Pedanti Cat, Omega Watt, Jack the Animator, Les, Daniel B., Red the Superdynamic, Chad, Wildcard 717, Of the Stars, Indabend and Tails, Genzel, Hannah W., Venus, Wheelie Doe, Sandra B.H., Sammy S., Derucival, Domino A.U., Puppy the Scholar, Miles the Prower, Navarre, Exidel, Agent Kaz, Preston M., 4 Sonic Fan, Noah M., Kyler A., Big Dan 20, Kojiro Highwind, Awesome Cakester, The Marble Gardener, Supersonic Fan, Radry, Aiden S., Chase L., Oz Jam, Shimmy M., Sonic 84, Curly Quills, Illegal Chow Fights, E200 Paragon, Smiley 21, Philip is Cold, Sterling Sonic, Congo, Windskull, Supernova, Superior Pizza, Sonic Padge, Thigoff, Morris, Omega Man 21, Thievius, In Zephyr, Dominic the Raccoon, Planet Breezy, Subliminal, Gino the Puppet, Miggy Sawdust, Rocco D, Unity, Lori L, Jason G, Nils, Vlad, Sheen, Lemur Chicken, Miss Nazumi, SB, My Fish Eats Rocks, the ID card, Jonathan F, Kip Kid Break, Levi C, Amazing, Samuth S, Dead Air, Luke R, Michael P, Chill Pangolin, Adrian W, Knuckles Sandwich 87, Fang, M Blewett, Miles Full Prower, Cool Christy 1, Ashter, Lacey M, Alejandro 333777, Loose, Noah I, Lucky Lychee, Spiral, Native Nerd 27, Salata 02, Ultra Guy, Raccoon Shinobi, Normal Person, Marcy H, Caswell, Mr. Murderbird, The Giant Murdering Bird, Trocon H, CS Lewis Fan, Blahaj Blast, The Phantomist, Crowbo, Noob 600, Sonic Mania 2099, Hadronis, Paley, Calico Paintbrush, Guts, William M, Silver Moon 2K1, Pet Viper, North Salt 15, Riley J, Relaxed Hoodie, Jahan S, Snow Pear, The Man of Multimedia, Foofy 93, Mr. Snippy, Florian, Call Me Ryan, All Peachy, Onion Girl, Charlie B, Icy Wolf, Jamal S, Wheels 282 Hedgehog, Metamode, Frost the Hobbidon, Danny Light, Butter Noodles, Miles Prower D, L Technopada, True Cosmic Digilife 79, Razor, Travis H, Hero Squad, Kaizen I'm in, James J, Lukio X30, Santa Claus, Scourge Time, Superior Spider, and Twilord.
Incredible. That is a lot of names. Why are they here? Why? What's going on?
When there's 217 of them, you don't question it. You're just thankful.
I really am. I truly am. Oh, so many names. Thank you guys for your patience and waiting for us to be able to read all of those names again. So,
yeah. I'll try not to get sick ever again.
Uh-huh. Good luck.
And all of you, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
Catch you later.
I couldn't find a good place to say we're no longer the BumbleKast. We're now the BowserKoopa.
Oh, well.
That didn't fit anywhere.
He found it. It's at the end of the show.
Oh, well, there we go. Peaches, 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 peaches.
I know, it's a very catchy song. It's like, damn it, Jack.
How do you... I am 99% sure he just improv with that. I'm like, yep, good.
Yeah, he had to have. It could not have been intentional from the start. Like, I really...
Like, they got him in the booth, and it's like, okay, Jack, we need you to make up a song about Princess Peach. Okay, let's rock. Boom, done.
I don't even know if it did that. He might have just started
in one. Thanks, Jack.
He might have just started singing it, like just out of nowhere.
That is also entirely possible.
Yeah, I would not doubt it. I have no idea, but it is glorious. And that man, he is great. Dwight Lord, no, that's just using his Knuckles power. Knuckles punches the super out of Sonic. That's just how cool he is. That's not related to any Emerald power. The great Emerald's power allows him to feel. I don't know what it allows him to feel, but it feels. He feels. I don't know. Feels his fist across Sonic's face. Yeah, that's it. What about Ron, Scruffy? What about Ron? Ask myself that every time. Ron has been missing. Ron has been gone for a few years. Sadly. Sadly, we have lost Ron forever. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. It's Canadian Flynn.
Hey!
Hey, hoser.
May the great moose smile upon you all, eh? See, I've been here long enough to hear all the Canadian jokes and be on the receiving end of them.
Yes.
To the point where I have realized the infinite amount of patience that these people have. Because it's the same 3 jokes.
Well, I mean...
And they're all said like it's the newest thing.
Uh-huh.
And every Canadian just kind of smiles and goes, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's the joke.
Uh-huh.
And they say Canadians are polite, and it's true, but in that kind of Bruce Banner trying not to rip your head off kind of nice.
Yeah, I can imagine. Actually, I don't have to imagine. I've been there.
Yeah. But, I make the announcement between family, friends, and Twitter. It's like, oh God, this is what I have to live with now.
You have opened up.
But you know me, I lean into it, so.
You're always sorry. That's my secret cap.
Now you wouldn't like me when I'm angry, don't you know?
For some reason, I associate that accent more with Minnesota than with Canada, but...
Yeah, I mean, the closest I've ever heard to that in the wild was when we went to Nova Scotia.
Oh, yeah.
And there is a difference, but I am not able to produce that distinction. So
yeah, it's a little. It's very. There are small differences, but I mean, overall, it's kind of the same, ish.
Yeah. Hold on a second. What'd you say?
Uh-oh.
Was it Newfoundland? Okay, well, one of the Maritimes.
Those places, that place over there, like way over there.
I saw puffins and got seasick. That's all I know.
Well, seasick.
Might have seen a bit of a fluke, but
a fluke. It might have been a fluke.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. You're sounding a lot better.
Okay.
You've had a week.
Much better.
That's good.
I was thinking that last week the inhaler was what was causing more trouble than any disease. So I'm off of that now.
That's good. Hope you're
still
off.
Not 100%, but
yeah. Hope you're off inhaling the kitty litter too.
Oh yeah, well, he's got to get his fix.
Mainlining that stuff, yeah. Don't do that. Yeah. All right.